loose for boost.
What's all this on the door? Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean.
Right, so I just popped down to an Uxbridge meet and Joe's popped down in his little silver KA. Don't know if you can guess what engine's in it, but this is a purpose-built little track car and I thought you guys would like it. There's a little clue. Got the old Wickham tape, the exhaust through the bumper, fully welded in cage. Oh yes, 20 valve turbo. Joe, does this mean you could run a TT like quattro box and then a Haldex back end?
Yeah,
I don't even go there.
Yeah,
That's what you need to do. That's next.
I've bought all the stuff.
Oh, you have got all the stuff. So what would you just have to run a little tunnel?
Well, the tunnels are really big in these.
Oh, so you could get a prop down there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Would you put the Audi or the Golf
Yeah, it's the stuff I bought's out of a 4Motion Golf.
and then run a Haldex controller?
Yeah, but that's the only thing, they're really expensive.
What, a controller? Or,
And you have to, well, the good ones come from the States, so you've got all the rigmarole of getting them in.
Yeah, this is wicked though.
But I won't do it to this one. I'll do it to a new shell. This one's like I say, I'd like to do slightly better cage. Silly things like this has got the standard. Have you seen like the bird's nest of wiring in this corner?
Mate, they all have. All the fast cars have dodgy wiring. You want to see mine?
At my place, we've got an auto electrician.
Yeah.
So I could just give him a bare shell
And say,
like,
make a loom.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah.
To be fair though, like for a front wheel drive car, it does put it down. Like you've got to go in it sort of thing to actually
Appreciate
Yeah, it sort of surprises you. Well, it surprises me anyway. How it goes.
You're about the turbo noises. This does make sick turbo noises.
You should take them
Have
out.
you got a bypass on it though, haven't you? But
So it's got a reset valve.
yeah.
But it's either not working or not working
So you get a
efficiently.
proper turbo chatter. All right.
Yeah. This comes into its own, like top end of third and like fourth and fifth are just fucking ridiculous because of the diesel box.
Yeah, I bet. So what sort of power is it at the moment?
It made 330 on the
330.
dyno, but I can actually physically prove that. But
Yeah. But that's stout
That was
in a
on
little.
17
That's stout in a
PSI.
little car, little lightweight stripped out race car.
yeah, it's on borrowed time. Them engines. So that's an unopened. I bought that for 50 quid. That engine, and
They're usually the better ones though, isn't it?
well, loose for boost. It's high mileage and
Yeah.
they have it. But they say 300 horsepower, 300 foot, and
Yeah.
it's 330, definitely, maybe a touch more. So,
And you had a Z-Tech in it before?
yeah, it's like Frankenstein's had a 1800 Z-Tech, which is the one that Zach
Mapped on bike carbs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then it had a 2 litre, and then
On bike carbs, yeah.
and then an ST170 on bike carbs, which had like a lot of headwork and stuff.
Yeah. You were
And
saying you like your track days because you're getting the little sticker collection.
Yep.
And then why did you go 20 valve turbo? Just cheap, awesome power,
Yeah, basically.
and be a bit different.
Well, and my like group of friends are predominantly VW boys,
Vag boys, yeah.
and a drunken night at the Nürburgring was like, why don't you put a 20 valve in it?
Yeah.
And then someone come up with, oh, it won't fit, and then it become like a challenge.
Fits pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually small.
It's just the inlet that stuffed you, but then you'd have the turbo issues with a
this is all
Z-Tech.
been chopped down.
Oh, you have
Yeah, it's
shortened it.
had like an inch taken out of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
It needs powder coating properly.
Mate, it's a race car, wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, stick that here.
And then you've done your own custom drive shafts on it.
Yep.
And then the mounts are
That
like
mount
a
is-
hybrid of Volkswagen to a block of metal to a. Is that what?
Yeah, so that is a block of aluminium machine to take Mark III Fiesta lower wishbone bushes.
And then you've mounted the VAG box onto that, the Volkswagen gearbox onto that. And then just you welded that piece onto the chassis.
To the
there.
chassis, yeah.
And what have you done? I thought that was a Ford top mount.
That's a Focus top mount,
Yeah.
and where that is located, you can put a black top straight back in it if you wanted to.
Oh, wicked.
Because I wasn't sure it'd all fit, I wanted to keep the stuff in there for the Z-Tech, so I could sort of take.
And then
it
have you
back
got like
instead.
tie bars?
Yeah, like dog bone.
Dog bone, yeah, nice.
VW boys, yeah.
No, it's jokes. I'm impressed with that. Did you make the manifold down the back?
Yeah.
And you're making a new, more twisty, crazy manifold right now?
Yeah, that is made for a Mark IV Golf, and I sell them as a kit. And the first thing everyone asks is, what power will it make? And I'd never actually put it on a car. So I had to run one to prove what it will do.
What size turbo is that?
It's a TDO5,
TDO4,
so
okay.
it's off of like Subaru.
Yeah, we got a TDO4 on the Sierra.
Yeah.
Punchy little.
Z-Tech's lovely.
Yeah. And they're cheap.
Yeah.
What management is it on?
ECU Master. That was probably the biggest teething problems we had with it.
What, getting that to work?
Well, no, we put it on standard management to start with.
Yeah.
And instead of buying a whole car, I bought like the engine, then the inlet, and then all different sensors and bits and pieces. And VW, being VW, you've got like 10 sensors that do the same thing but with a slightly different part number. If you plug it into the wrong ECU, it'll pull up codes and stuff.
Oh, brilliant.
So it got to the point where I got it working, but I was just like, F it, I'm just going to put an ECU master in it, and then any sort of problems you have, you actually know what you're dealing with rather than chasing.
Yeah, you can see on the laptop straight away that you haven't got like coolant temp, it's not reading right, or...
To be fair, it's definitely saving the day at the moment. I don't think it would do that power on the standard management and last very long.
And you got big, would you say, ST brakes on the front?
Yeah. And DS 2500s, I think they're called or something. Frodo's.
Yeah. Yeah, drums on the back. What's that alternator off? That's tiny.
Yeah.
No, we were saying that it's not worth running like a disc on the back of this because it weighs as much as a packet of fags. Joe, what's all this on the door? Your jet sizes?
Yeah, so that was when Zach did it the first time.
Yeah.
Just so that if I ever sort of needed to know. And then, yeah, that was the ST170. That weren't Zach, someone else mapped it.
Fade around it.
I actually need to carry on with that.
Yeah, just add all the other bits and bobs that your little notepad on the door. My Fiesta's wiring's just as crazy.
Yeah, it's all this down here I'd like to sort of tidy up. But
It's when you're messing about with stuff like that and you see a proper motorsport, like well engineered, you know, from scratch built loom with all the ends and the connectors, everything's labelled, braided, and then you're like, that is a work of art. And I wouldn't even know where to start to get mine to that level. That's the
problem. I'm sort of around that. So the guys at Brands Actual Performance that have done the ECU for me,
yeah,
that's what they do.
That's what they do, yeah.
And I would love to just chuck it in there and say, do your best, but it's fortunes. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's big money. Well, you could spend a couple of hours just messing about with like one little relay, do you know what I mean? Whereas if they've got to do the whole lot from scratch, everything's got to be measured, all the right ends on it, all the right connectors on it, and then test it all, check it all, and it's all got to be rated. And yeah, it's a lot. It's not a 5-minute job. Definitely. I can imagine it does add up. No, this is jokes. I'm loving the exhaust. It's annoying you can get the exhaust out the reverse light. It's like perfect.
Do you know why? It's actually.
Is there like away? Is there
no,
stuff?
So it's got the fuel cell in the back, and then instead of running anything inside, the tank's got a swell pot that comes out the bottom of it.
So that you'd be right through the swell pot.
It's just like I'm not brave enough to run the exhaust that close to it.
No, that's right. So it's JP Fabrications who you work for, or is that
that's
your
my
sideline thing? Okay, cool. What do you do, like TIG, MIG?
Yeah, basically
anything
just TIG welding pretty much.
Cool. Yeah, man, I like it. I'm well impressed with it. I like a KA anyway. This is like, as I was saying, my kind of build.
They're about the only Ford now that you can buy for a couple of £100. Like you used to be able to. For like
I always say it's the closest you can get to like an old XR2 because all the inside of the door is all tin, you know, and it's a light little basic car. Yeah, I like them. No jokes. Did you ever see Leroy's little green one? Was wicked on the. He had it on the called the Mohags, and they were like green Mohags. We called it the P.
That was on its arse, wasn't it?
Yeah, slammed. Yeah, and that was. I mean, again, like you can have loads of fun in it, even with a 1300. And I'm sure this with a 1800 20 valve turbo lump is an absolute riot. And you say you sleeved the drive shafts for now, and they're holding up.
Same you did with yours, pretty much exactly the same.
Heat them up.
Yeah, interference fit.
And then weld the f out of them.
Yeah, I just took them to work and sent them in with the 3-phase MIG.
So they'll be fine. It'll take a lot to break them, and if they do break, then at least you know the lengths that work, and then you can get something made up.
I've been stupid that I slung them in and I haven't actually measured them before they've broken.
Mate.
Is a bit of a problem.
Hopefully it's a nice clean shear if it does, and then you just plop them together. And
I think the limiting factor would be the KACVs.
yeah. How are you going to do the new exhaust? Are you going to get rid of the servo, or are you going to keep the servo?
No, I'm going to try and keep that. I've driven lots of cars with pedal boxes, and I'm not a fan myself.
No.
Not especially if I'm going to use it on the road as well.
Yeah, that's a good turbo, isn't it? You wouldn't expect that from a little KA. What's the torque steer like on it?
It isn't that bad.
Have you done the rig in this?
No. It's one of them things, if I went all the way out there and it broke a shaft, for example, it's not like I can just go and buy one.
No, you'd be screwed.
And when we go for a week. If you break it the first few days, it's soul destroying.
Yeah, I know. It's big money as well. You need to trailer it out and.
Yeah. I've got a Mark IV Golf that's exactly the same setup as this. So if I go this year, it'll be in that because you should obviously get parts for that anywhere, like any local motor factors.
Yeah.
So
you got the same manifold, turbo.
yeah. So,
Same sort of power, is it?
it was live mapped. It's never been on the rollers, the Golf, but it's 300 plus. Yeah. So, but obviously it's a lot chubbier car, so it's not quite as fun as this.
Yeah. It's still stable, like it feels comfortable.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I'm sure up the top end it gets a bit
Yeah.
loose. So is this box got a diff in it? Is it open?
Yeah, it's open. Yeah.
Can you buy diffs for these boxes?
Yeah, they're readily
Like
available.
Quafe or something?
Yeah, Quafe do them. The one I was looking at was called Blackline, which is like a cheaper version.
So you go basically with a white box.
It's a cheap diff, but a friend of mine stocks them, so I can get it quite cheap. And then obviously I was planning on maybe doing a 4-wheel drive one anyway. So.
Yeah. Dave Andrews is developing a DSG adapter plate for a Z-Tech.
Okay.
And he's done it so that you can run the transfer box. So you could go down the route of having it'd be crap not having a clutch pedal, but you could have like flappy paddle, and then you could have like the Haldex back end. Yeah. And those boxes are bomb proof.
Yeah. The DSG box, one of them bolts directly onto the engine.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty easy to do. Yeah.
But it's just whether or not you don't want to be stamping on the clutch and proper bang shifting a H-pattern gearbox. Whether you can deal with like having an automatic
I've driven a few like the newer Golfs with DSG.
Yeah.
They're enjoyable, but I do like you say, smashing through a proper gearbox.
And I like toe heeling it and like flipping the throttle to like. Yeah, we'll do a proper video on it one day. I'll be bang up for doing a track day.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I bet you show a lot of people up around the track day.
Yeah, I mean, I think
if you do a 4-wheel drive one,
yeah,
it has to be like the black plastic bumpers.
Yeah.
Left ear, yeah.
I left it.
Yeah, left ear. Yeah, it has to be like the proper base spec.
Yeah.
Like black plastic bumpers. Like faded red paint and then it's bright down here.
This was a black bumper car when I got it.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I only put that big.
For the intercooler.
Yeah.
Stuff, yeah.
Otherwise, it was literally sticking out the front, and it just looked a bit of a mess.
Yeah. And that power steering sounds crazy. Yeah, cheers for that, man.
No worries.
Straight on eBay, look at the 20 valve turbos. Mate.
The other day when you put up your Mark III Escort, I was like,
20 valve turbo.
20 valve turbo. I was like, I can't keep preaching it to everyone.
Yeah, they are good edges. A friend of mine I used to work with, he had a pretty funky little TT.
Yeah.
I know how good they are, and I know how, like, if you really wanted to go crazy with them, you can.
But it looks.
Was it? It's a Renault 21.
No, 11.
11.
Like, even when you open the back,
How floppy is the suspension?
it's pretty funny watching it go around corners.
Yeah, that mini went round the outside. Like shit, I was holding on the dog. I was holding on to the dog as well. Like shit, the dog's in there flying.
It's a wicked colour.
Yeah, I don't know what it is called.
I can't get over the seats in this thing.
Straight up.
Oh, mate. Oh, it's auto. Lazy boy.
He clocked over 50k as I pulled in here.
Oh yeah, bang on. Look at that. You have some crazy taste in cars.
Well, you know.
What are you listening to?
Might be dance. Oh no, that's
Billy Ocean.
Billy Ocean.